Hello and welcome to Let's Plays Disco Elysium Part 45. If you would be so kind, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Maybe check out the Patreon. So we've managed to get inside the Feld Building with a bit of teleporting. And we found a postcard. I was slightly annoyed with the whole, you're never going to find out where that radio came from. Because I think it's fairly obvious where the radio signal came from, or the sound of the radio came from, I should say. It came through that big pipe we saw. You should take out your flashlight. Okay. I think I put away my flashlight so I could get out door opening tools, and how did none of these work? Antiquated office furniture. Last century, maybe? Brought down and forgotten. So long ago. This collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Sound of some ratties. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. And that looks like the door we were trying to get open.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
Who's there? I mean,
what do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get this door open.
So somehow it's easier from the inside. I assume there was a lot.
It's much easier from this side.
Ah, weird.
The panels on the rails, once you dust the sand off, with the help of your partner, from the other side, the door opens with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that. Yes.
You ready?
Time to investigate these passages. Let's move quietly and not make more sound.
Not running is a great way to do that.
I see. So we're supposed to be nice and slow. Kim's a bit old and tired. He doesn't like the running. Old file folders in the cart. Documents silvery with mould. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass. Ooh, free jacket. Good suggestion. The beam of the flashlight. A crevice in the wall. Can we get in here? Yes. Stale fabric smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mozov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait.
Brush the dust off the portrait.
Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand. Grains stick into the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
Ooh. It's Kras Mozov. What a troublemaker he was.
Yes. Looks like some latter-day radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
What's with all these secret weapons caches and secret bunkers?
We have found a lot of those lately.
Hmm.
I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Could it be connected to the Mozov bust we saw in the students' room?
Millions of depictions of Mozov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff.
A long time ago? How long?
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing.
He looks around.
I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted.
Maybe I should move in here. Seems cozy.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case.
Seems a bit more cozy than our current place. You mean, what? When we're through with the case, I can move in here. But until then, I have to live in a shack? Could someone have stopped through here recently?
You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
He looks at the dust. What's this? These pots and plates are full of dust and spider webs. The same slit window you saw from the outside. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed, ancient flyers and brochures.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary?
It would have to line up perfectly.
This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of.
Peek out.
Outside the window, another day. The beach sand soaks up the drizzling rain, growing darker and darker.
Could the killer have used this as a hideout, Kim?
It's a great place to hide, and Mazovianism and murder are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages.
Kim, I can't see the whirling in rags. The shots didn't come from here.
Indeed. No one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
You do.
In fact, I think we're done with this bunker.
Ah.
After you, officer.
I think I'll decide that. Yes, we are done with this bunker. There's absolutely nothing else in here. There we go. Nice and slow. Just the way you like it. I mean, if we're supposed to be stealthy, shouldn't we, like, not have the torch out? I don't know. Boot prints in the sand. One of the soles appears to be more worn than the other. There's something in the air and unnatural buzzing. The tunnel collapsed. You'll have to find another way around. Okay, looks like there is only this way where the footsteps go then. Seems quite likely to be Ruby. It's getting louder, that buzzing sound.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
Lieutenant, do you feel something?
No. What do you mean?
As pain, a strange tingling.
I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh.
Hold on, you really don't feel anything?
No, but you are the sensitive one.
I saw them too, the footprints with the right sole worn smooth.
Looks like our suspect.
It does.
If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully.
What do you mean?
Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
We found Everett's plan to take the harbour. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
Maybe we should finish looking into the Speed Freaks FM mystery?
If you want to do that, then yes. We'd be advised to finish every lead. I don't think we'll have the chance to after...
He looks down the dark tunnel. He does not finish the thought. How bad do you think things could get?
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
He smiles in the dark.
Let's try not to worry, he thinks. If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
What do you think is waiting for us there?
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I
Excellent.
wouldn't be so sure.
Oh.
You haven't exactly been sneaking.
No.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
He puts his hand to his holster. Okay. So... and we've checked everywhere we can get to for bullet traces. We tried to do that with the window, but we might want to speak to Kras, like go and have another night where we go looking around again. There's really not much more to complete. Put the pieces together at the Feld mural. You see, we can go outside and maybe look at the Feld mural again. Is the best I can suggest for that one, but I don't really think there's an awful lot to be said. Last time I had a look, it actually wouldn't let us interact with it, so... No, you can't interact with it. Do you have anything else to say?
Hello again.
Nope. So I don't know that there's anything else we can really do. Maybe you have one last night. Do these kids have anything else to say?
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Kids are stupid.
You're stupid.
How about the policeman asks you something else now?
Okay.
You guys look
The
identical.
stone-kicking one becomes frantic all of a sudden, as if that's something to be scared of. The obvious fact that you just stated.
He looks just like me.
Yeah, I said that.
The boy doesn't answer. His brother throws another rock. Both of their hair is covered in some kind of dirt. The rock kicker was just being shy, but now he's enthusiastic again.
You're bad with kids.
Yes, I am.
Don't worry, everyone is. How about we do some police work now? We're not getting anything here.
Well, you're the one who said to go and check out other stuff before we bring in our suspect.
A brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. Occasionally, the waves crawl in under the foundation, producing a low hum.
Listen.
The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside, it is cold and windy, but you're inside, and it feels safe and warm.
What is this place to you?
A possible resting spot for my fugitive is what it is.
Waves crash onto the beach, drowning the reeds. Far to the south, a congregation gathers to a soup kitchen in a shelter for the homeless. An old woman gives out knitted scarves for free. Far to the southeast, 2 men and a woman dress themselves in ceramic armor. A shortwave radio hisses on the windowsill. One makes a salute, the other downs a drink. Weapons under the bed. A middle-aged man stands in a rundown shack on the edge of a fishing village. Nothing nods. No one salutes him. No sight of the fugitive.
Thank you, strange sensation, for a fair assessment of the current situation.
Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up. The waves crash against the stilts again. It's as if you think the thought, but in someone else's voice.
Revachol forever.
Creepy. So, if we go out again, does Kim rejoin us? Yes, look, Kim, we need you to go away for a bit, I think. I mean, honestly, it's either that or, well, I don't know. It's serious. There's literally only one person we have to talk to, so perhaps we will skip that. It's too early in the day. And we definitely can't seem to find out anything else about this boardwalk thing. I just assumed the sound came from this bike. It's the completionist in me wants to do absolutely everything before. Our shivers are certainly telling us some strange things. Right, round this way. I'm wondering if I should try some, like, changing my clothes to increase pain threshold, possibly, because it seems like, you know, we got a warning on that. It's not going to help. What was it? Pain threshold, there we go. That could be helpful. Anything else help us with that? Pain threshold. Well, this is +1. And we got. Does this go? Where does this go? It goes there. Yeah. Okay, so our gloves give us interface. Electrochemistry might be better. glasses are for stealth, which we're reasonably stealthy. Wonder if we should put on our tricky shoes. Okay. As stealthy as we ever are. And we are in a bit of a dangerous situation here. I wonder if it's worth getting our gun out. Just in case.
Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm.
I think my hand recognises it.
It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. This is your gun. It's more of a symbol than anything else, because there is always a rational, sensible, reasonable solution to every situation. Sheathe it and know you have the moral high ground.
It feels strange. A concrete pipe buried in sand and dust. Getting rich here. For us at least.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Says the shadowy figure by the machine.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways.
Cover your ears. Well, that didn't help.
No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience. Way worse than all the previous ones. Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
Yell through the static. You're under arrest.
Really now? Check this out.
She turns the dial in her hand. Well, that wasn't helpful, was it?
You're overwhelmed with a new surge of violent static. It feels like a blood vessel exploded in your brain.
Are you gonna kill me too?
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here. I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
You realise this is actually causing us physical damage, right? And that if I didn't have healing stuff, I would be dead already.
The explosion of static you're hearing is the ULAM frequency, blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
Pat Angus said you had a pale emitter.
That boy's really gotta learn to keep his trap shut. And it's not a bloody pale emitter. It doesn't emit pale. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the Pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is the concentration of radio waves.
He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for Pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
Oh. So the kids must have experienced this. Yeah. This must be how the twins heard the radio in their heads. They must have been standing by when she tested it.
She's been holed up in here for a while with no one to talk to. Keep her talking, and you just might get an opportunity to break loose.
How did you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
She nods towards her torture device.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond.
Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
Will I stay like this forever?
No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream.
This is all great, but let's talk about the man who was killed.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not the cops, and of herself merely as prey.
Please, could you just turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
The lieutenant clutches his head, grimacing.
God damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden sympathy.
Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
Yeah, I have as well. She steps reluctantly out of the shadows. The pain lessens.
The gun she's carrying is a two-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. Just keep her talking, and you'll get through this.
Okay, so, keeping our pain threshold as high as possible looks like it might be a good thing. How did you know we were coming?
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while.
By hiding bullets under the floorboards?
So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised.
I wouldn't even have a bullet if it wasn't for you.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
She didn't rat you out, by the way. Isabel, the washerwoman.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find to my back.
She smiles a little smile. Preparing for the worst?
I was. Before I caught you in the Pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit. It was dark in the shack. The waves outside had calmed down. She looked at the loaded gun. Then she cracked the barrel open and took the bullet out. Not today.
Did you shoot Lily?
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first.
You're right. Kras was the first to share her suspicions.
Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this.
She smiles sadly.
But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Titus told me it took some convincing.
Oh, fuck. Took some convincing my ass. Those guys liked me, I know it. This is what happens to people who people like.
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck did the rest of you get by?
Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal. I opened them up.
I did, didn't I? Now you've come for me. Fuck them all the same.
She scoffs.
That did make her forgive them a little.
I do it by asking questions, and I have some for you.
Like what?
She
I
adjusts her
already
grip
told
on the
you
gun.
I didn't do it.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a place for herself.
Do you, hang out on rooftops?
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Kras's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna.
What's so great about her antenna?
It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies.
Ooh, naughty.
That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival.
Makes sense, though. Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof?
The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Plaza.
So you're sure you didn't shoot the merc from the roof?
Yes, I'm sure. In fact, the shot couldn't have possibly come from the roof. Otherwise, we would have heard it downstairs.
She has a point.
No one mentioned hearing the shot. And a rifle like the one used would have been loud. She's right. I don't think the shot came from the roof.
Did you leave any flowers for Klasia on the roof?
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style.
These weren't just flowers, they were symbols of revolution just through the pain.
So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on.
That Klasia was mourning.
I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hotshouse's worth of flowers has to die too.
Okay, so you didn't leave the Maybells.
No, I did not.
Do you have an alibi for when Lily was shot?
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me.
There was 10 minutes they couldn't account for.
You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time.
Our investigation, wins from the pain, has shown that 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain.
Play pinball much?
No. Not since I was 14 and hanging out in the only diner in Dardenne. Haven't been into low-risk, no-reward games since moving to the city. Why?
There were some mysterious pinball machines in some pretty mysterious rooms in the whirling.
Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries.
Wait, what kinds of mysteries interest you then?
Not murder mysteries either, if that's what you're thinking.
She looks you in the eye impassively, making it clear that she's not planning to comment on the matter any further.
That's a shame, because I happen to be a paranatural detective.
Cool. They sent a ghost cop after me. Congratulations.
What about elevators? Do you like elevators?
The fuck do elevators have to do with anything?
Do you or don't you?
Not particularly.
Not even, grab your head, quaint old rickety ones?
I'm not really into old shit for old shit's sake.
God damn it!
The lieutenant grabs his head.
So no, she's not an antiques enthusiast. Not my jurisdiction, man. But it also doesn't sound like she used that secret route at all.
Look, there's a secret way from the ground floor to the whirling... of the whirling to the roof.
Don't know it, but also...
She frowns, studying your face.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
The pain stops him from finishing the sentence.
That didn't go super well. You've got to lay something better on her.
You have a gun.
And
Where did you get it?
the gun store,
What gun store?
Trigger Happy Jacks.
That doesn't sound like the name of a real gun store.
What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal.
Can't quite tell what kind of gun it
I
is.
knocked away a front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing.
That isn't it.
I see it's a front loader. Do you have another gun somewhere?
Sure don't.
The breech loader.
No.
This is such a wipeout.
I know you don't like the old school things, but do you happen to sell antique rifles on the side?
Never really got into weapons trafficking. Especially not old weapons. They break too often, and you don't want unhappy customers among gun collectors.
There's other evidence I want to ask you about.
Yeah, evidence.
Well, all this evidence seems to be falling apart. Would you say that Lily was a likeable person?
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types.
You don't feel sympathy for mercs? It's hard work.
Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do.
Did you feel protective of the Union?
Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
She didn't hate it, okay?
I have other questions.
I'm listening.
Gay, you're running drugs for the Union. I've been through your lorry.
So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too.
She shakes
Never
her head.
trust a musician.
That really comes as a blow to her.
No, he didn't. I found out my own way.
Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking?
A bitter smile. Probably.
Beneath it, she's relieved Tommy didn't betray her.
You're a criminal. I can't trust anything you say.
That's your prerogative.
You had a financial incentive to kill the merc.
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style.
Interesting, but that's not actually what she said, according to the text. Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jangrock, my previous employer, for the Union. The lieutenant is unable to articulate his question.
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later.
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun
She
has
glances
only
at
been
it.
used for self-defense against serious scum.
She turns the knob down just a millimeter. Oh, thank you.
It's going to be easier to reach the machine now.
But you're threatening us with it?
Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum.
She responds, holding your gaze.
There's a sinister note in her voice. Even with the gun and the compressor, she's afraid of you.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
Who killed the merc if it wasn't you?
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Klaus's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
What happened Sunday night? Tell us your version.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
Kim struggles to finish the sentence.
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers. like always. Then Klasha comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her.
Wait, did she also seem high to you?
Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before.
Klasia said you knew something was wrong immediately.
No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
How did you manage to come up with a plan so quickly?
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
She looked shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out, but framed.
Her idea?
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys.
Kras knew exactly what she was doing. You can't remain calm under pressure otherwise.
Showerhead? Resourceful.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed.
Do you think she killed Lily herself?
As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried the lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going, fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me.
If you didn't kill him, why hide?
I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
What?
That strange, distant fear is getting close now. It's a fear of yourself.
What do you mean, La Puta Madre agent?
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself.
Fucking hell. And why me?
You hear through the white noise. What, we're a mobster?
It's especially bad subject. Felt like a vein exploded.
Who's everyone? How do you know this?
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Tell me what's my name. If you know that about me, you must know my name.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to La Puta Madre.
So she knows your name. That doesn't mean you're on the tape. Criminals make up boogeyman stories about cops all the time. All of this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you. I don't know. Sounds pretty convincing to me.
La Puta Madre, I've heard of La Puta Madre. She's dangerous, right?
Is that a joke or a threat?
No, that was a
I'm
real
guessing
question.
both. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough.
What did you do to this Madre, anyway?
You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
She's not going to change her mind that easily. She still perceives you as a threat. Wait, one thing, possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
When I came into town, was there anyone with me?
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway?
I don't... Who was in this squad?
Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either.
What else can you tell me?
One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are. Literally, Satellite Officer Vicmere looks out of the window grimly, then puts his coffee down and turns to Patrol Officer Miller. We could either take a room here in the world or go home for today. Let's go home, John. Nothing's going to happen today, she responds quietly. John takes his blonde wig off. Call Heidelstam. He can give us a ride.
Yeah, that's right. I was just testing you. They're right outside. Guns!
I've faced worse.
She shrugs. You know about the bunker next door?
What bunker?
The communist hideout back there.
Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to...
Her voice trails off into white noise in your head. It feels like an aneurysm approaching. Ah, goddammit.
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer.
Right. Let's destroy the machine. This is our best chance yet. We can do it! We can do it! Come on, Harry!
You did it.
Yeah!
The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
Whisper over your shoulder. You okay, Kim?
All good, officer. Be careful.
I will be. Blimey, did that hurt.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
She puts the barrel of the gun into her mouth. Whoa. Oh. That's not good. What are you doing?
Problem solving.
She mutters.
Ma'am, put the gun down. That's not the solution to your problems. You are...
Oh, yes it is.
Okay, let's try and convince her to put the gun down. We don't have a great chance, but we've got some chance, so we will try. Please put the gun down.
You should know the words to say. You've been here yourself, so why is it not coming to you?
Why am I standing here like an idiot?
Because you've been going around pointing a gun at yourself, trying to answer the same question in vain. Her finger squeezes the trigger now.
But she doesn't deserve to die like
A
this.
smirk crosses her face as she watches you stand there, mute. Then she exhales
Oh,
sharply,
damn it.
shakes her head,
Gee.
and pulls the trigger. You watch as her brains trickle out through her neon hair.
She killed herself. I failed to talk her down.
Lieutenant Yefreitor Dubois, control your emotions. We did our job. This won't be the worst thing that happens on this case.
Oh,
believe me.
whoa.
You can't let this break you.
I hope
There is
it
no
is.
coming
Like,
back from this one. It will stay with you in nightmares.
oh, God.
Fuck.
The lieutenant stands motionless, watching the blood pool in the sand.
Get a hold of yourself. He needs your support now, too.
What did we just do?
Our job. It went really bad. And now we need to clean it up.
She died. How can he be so cold?
Okay. Compose yourself. What do we do now?
We clean up. It may take days for processing to pick up her body. We need to move it somewhere. That tent there.
In the darkness. How sad. cooking utensils. She has prepared herself porridge with bananas. We might need that. Dark water trails into the distance. There is no way out.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionately. It was pitched by practiced hands. She was used to camping out.
Look inside.
You see a rolled-up sleeping bag and personal belongings.
We should put her in the sleeping bag, so the rats don't get to her.
Okay, let's carry her over there.
The lieutenant nods. There she lies, cocooned in the sleeping bag, surrounded by empty cigarette packs, books, and half-read magazines. Magazines? You should look through them.
Shine your flashlight on the books and magazines.
Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Sift through the magazines.
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine, it's a leather notebook.
A notebook.
You pocket the worn brown leather journal. She watches by, motionless.
We should read this immediately, like right now.
Yes, we should read this immediately.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket.
Examine the cover.
It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name, Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. She had good taste and must have taken what she recorded here seriously.
Unwrap the strap.
The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled.
Study the handwriting.
The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently.
Flip through the pages.
It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
We could learn a lot from this.
What kind of logistics?
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information,
That could be
quantities,
useful.
directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Professionalism is his coping mechanism.
What are the diagrams of?
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape.
Okay. Anything about La Puta Madre?
That name isn't mentioned as far as you can tell. Small wonder. Would you talk about La Puta Madre in your journal? You do see an M though. La Puta Madre. M is mentioned on March 9th and March 15th.
Read the entry from March 9th first.
Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head
Yeah.
while I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? Things played out just as she had feared, except you didn't shoot her. It's in you to do something like this. Kill her. Physically, at least. You could pull the trigger if you had to.
No, I couldn't.
Yes, you could. You'd pull it 1, 2, 3 times and watch her fall. No, stop. He wouldn't do that.
Read the entry from March 12th.
Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people. The boys, for example. But experience tells me, did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly.
So did she betrayed the mob? Sounds like it. We work for the mob? What did she write the day Lily died?
Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely. She is referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense?
How far back do the entries go?
The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable.
Anything personal?
Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them. Staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal.
What's the most recent entry?
The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning.
I don't think she killed the mercenary. It looks like she might have been framed.
This whole thing was a detour, and a fatal one, he thinks. Don't get emotional.
So she died for nothing?
She was in plenty of trouble, even without the murder charge. Still, it's a nasty business.
Kim, am I really a La Puta Madre agent?
No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure.
His trust is well placed. You aren't. You can feel it.
Then who do you think killed the merc?
Could have been Titus. Then again,
No one heard the shot.
maybe there's a hardy boy we've yet to meet who acted as his accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling in rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
We will. We certainly will. Well, that was a dramatic scene. I think that's all for this time on Let's Plays Disco Elysium. If you'd be so kind, like, share, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the Patreon. Thank you for watching, and farewell. Thank you to my epic patrons who make videos like these possible. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more, don't forget to subscribe.